It's not human. Almost like the skin on a chicken's legs. It's scaly but soft scales.
And what color is it?
Just that brown, but it seems to change colors.
Wonderful. Thank you.
The feet.
Looking at your hands, how would you describe your hands to me, please?
Like a chicken's feet. I have 3 long finger claws. Got an opposable thumb. One of them is opposable and the other 2 go forwards so I can hold things.
Wonderful, thank you. And are you able to sense what your feet look like?
Much the same as my hands, with an extra toe thing.
How does it seem to be you there?
It feels foreign but familiar. This is not my home, but I've been here many times. The suit that I'm wearing is actually there to protect my body from the sun.
Is that the reason why you also have a helmet on?
Say the helmet was for my other travels before I got on the boat, but yes, part of it is to protect my head.
Thank you. Are you able to describe how the helmet fits or looks?
It's very contoured around my head, but it's got this long pointy bit at the back. And then from that pointy bit behind it goes from the point down my neck and it connects to my suit, out of the suit.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you notice if you're wearing any jewellery of any sort?
No,
Are you holding anything now?
not in my hands.
Thank you. And the other,
In the helmet.
Are you able to repeat that, please? Sorry.
I seem to have all my materials in my helmet, or they are a part of my helmet.
I see. And what sort of materials are in there?
I have this screen, this device that allows me to travel and communicate or manifest anything that I require. The screen with the crystal core inside, and that's what powers it.
Thank you. Is there anything else that's in your helmet?
Beams and it's my spaceship. It's a ship that I'm now wearing around my body.
Right. Describe the ship to me.
It's a form of technology that is common to where I come from, but this one has been made especially for me on these travels. When I'm traveling through space, I can choose to activate this suit to become a ship or the vessel that I travel in. When I reach my destination, I condense it back to become a bodysuit, a cover. This allows me to still have it with me, to travel with me, and to have all the things that I need, but also to be able to move on, should I need to, choose to.
It sounds amazing. Thank you for sharing that with me. I really appreciated learning that that is a situation in heaven. Thank you. So the other beings that were on the boat that were now on the rock platform, do they also look like you? Similar?
Not quite. They're all different. They all wear different bodies.
Thank you. And so where are you heading now where was your intended destination for this boat trip? What are you going to do next?
I'm going towards these people who are calling me over. Going to lead me to where we need to be to do some work.
Can you tell me what sort of work that would be?
Something to do with the Earth's magnetics.
Thank you. And is the location very important for that, where you're at?
Yes.
And why is that?
From this place, we have clear access or undisturbed access to the poles of the planet. We can conduct our work and our experiments from this one space without needing to go anywhere else. So I physically align from here to what we need to connect to.
Thank you. And can you explain to me the experiments that you were doing?
We're testing to see whether we can manipulate the frequencies that are emitted by this magnet to influence the people above, the direction that we would like to help them to go.
And how would that help? What do you hope will happen by doing this?
We want to align or amplify the energies that are here present to affect people on the surface, to be in alignment with the natural forces of this space. They seem so unaligned, they seem so far from the pure energy. We want to see if we can magnify it and if that will help for them to realign and remember.
Thank you. It is a very important job, isn't it?
It's necessary.
And how is it going? How are you able to make a difference and align and amplify the energy?
Seems we have been able to in the past, but there are other forces that are working against our efforts. So we have to come and reboot this amplification to see if we can overcome the counteraction. It is working for a few individuals, for a few people who are choosing to align. And we need to boost it for the majority to get benefits.
And is that going to happen if you keep amplifying the energy, or
We hope so, but we can only amplify it in tiny increments. Otherwise, the effect we hope for will just be too much. for them to handle it, so we have to do it slowly. We're almost at a point where we have amplified it to as much as we can for this time period. Just a few more degrees, and we can't go any further for now.
Thank you. And when it's amplified just to those few more degrees, what will happen then?
Forces that are trying to counteract us will no longer have any power or effect upon the people. They will start to remember their own power and their own alignment that comes from this body that they inhabit. So it's like a blanket of protection that we're trying to reactivate. If we are successful, then these other forces can no longer affect and push their agenda on as beings. They can exercise their free will and their purity. They can experience once again all the abilities endowed within their bodies.
Thank you so much. And who are these other beings who are trying to stop your progress?
We call them misfits.
Mm-hmm.
They are the people or the beings, however you choose to call them, that thrive on chaos, that thrive on this disconnection that those people who experience. It is their nature at this point, because of their level of evolution. They know better. They can't seem to bring themselves to exercise that divinity within them, so they just move around the galaxy, creating chaos and mayhem wherever they can.
Thank you.
They're trying to create a reality much similar to that which they experience themselves.
I see. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you want to tell me about that?
That seems to be sufficient.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And for the people that will be benefiting from your alignment and the amplification of the energy, you said it was just a small amount of beings that are able to benefit from that. Was that correct?
At this particular time, yes. Within no barriers, most of them will be able to benefit. In fact, all of them would be able to benefit, should they choose.
Thank you, I understand. And so what's going to happen to these misfits for them to no longer be able to have impact and affect the other beings being distracted by them?
When they no longer have control or influence over these people, then they have no choice but to return to the light or move elsewhere. But see, if they have no source of nourishment, which is what they get from creating mayhem, then they cannot sustain themselves. So they will grow weaker and weaker until they have no choice but to return to the light and start the experience once again in pure form.
Thank you. Can you explain to me how they feed off, how they as nourishment? How do they do that?
By creating disharmony. They themselves are in a state of disharmony because they refuse to feed off light. So because of this, they are weak and muddled to keep themselves in such a state and to keep themselves going, because they choose not to feed from source and light. They need to create more of which they feel. And so they feel disconnected, they feel angry, they feel fearful, they're filled with darkness. So this is what they want to create, so they have a source to feed off. So when they create this fear and this darkness and this doubt and this disharmony and disconnection, that nourishes them, that keeps them going. And so this is what they want to create, or are creating at this particular time and place where I
am. Information that you just shared with us. Is there anything you want to tell us about your progress?
It seems we will be successful. Aiding the surface dwellers to shake off those influences. In time to move with this body as it progresses. They will have an easier transition. They are already connected to this light, this energy which we are trying to bring and amplify to them.
Thank you.
This will happen regardless. But the mission is to help the dwellers to transition smoothly without any interruptions or influences that are not beneficial to them.
Thank you. And then you said that because of this amplification, they would be able to remember who they are in this body. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you explain her to me, please?
Because of the influences of these forces over significant periods of time, the genetic makeup of these dwellers has been scrambled in such a way that they are no longer able to access the full power that is within them. They have forgotten that they are light beings. They have been confined for so long to this flesh and its desires that they have forgotten that they are more than that. So they need to be reactivated and reawoken and have the scrambled pieces rearranged and reconnected so that they can start to fully experience their majestic things. They're so wonderful and so capable of things that they cannot even dream of.
Thank you. And is this what we refer to as the shift into the fifth dimension in the ascension process?
Yes, it is. We call it by a lot of terms. But it is.
Sorry, are you able to repeat that?
It is the same. It is just known by a lot of different terms. But it is the same event.
Thank you. And do you have a term or a name for the changes that are going to take place? What do you refer to it as?
We call it evolution. Or transcendence. I prefer that term personally.
Transcendence?
Transcendence, they say transcendence. Transcendence.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And so, is there many groups like you that are doing this work around the planet, or?
There are legions of us, all focusing on different areas which we feel that we can influence to help. Some walk among the earth wearing human bodies. Some of us retain our forms. Some of us are invisible, but we surround this whole planet. There are so many of us here.
Thank you for all that you do for us to help